Hello guys, welcome back to another Android Studio tutorial. In the last episode, we already learned about how to insert information into SQLite database. In this video, here I am going to demonstrate how to read information from SQLite database. So for read information from SQLite database, first we have to define a user-defined function inside SQLite Open Helper class. So here we have a subclass called contact DB helper. That is a subclass of SQLite Open Helper. So now here I am going to define a method that read information from SQLite database. So here the return type of this method is a cursor object. I name it as read contacts. For this method we need one parameter, that is an object of SQLite database. I name it as database. So first we have to specify which are the columns we need to read. So here you have to specify the columns in the form of a string array. So here I specify a string array called projections. In this string array you have to specify the needed column names. So we can get the column names from the contract class. First we need contact ID. Second we need contact name. And finally we need email. So these are the columns now we are going to read. Now we can start read the information. So here the information returned in the form of a cursor object. So by using the database object, you have to call a method called query. So the first parameter for this method is the table name. So we can get the table name from the contract class. Second parameter is the columns, that means projections. So here we specify the needed columns inside the string array called projections. Now we have to specify the selection, that means the condition. Here there is no condition, so we can simply pass null for it. Now specify the selection argument. Now specify the group by clause. Here there is no group by clause, so we can simply pass null for it. Now here is the having clause, pass null for it. And here is the final parameter order by, so we can simply pass null for that one also. Okay, so now here we have the information available on the cursor object. Now we can simply return the cursor from this method. So now here we have a user-defined function inside the SQLite Open Helper. So this method will help us to read information from the SQLite database. So now to read information from SQLite database, here I am going to create a new fragment. So right click the package and create a new fragment. Select the blank fragment. Here I name it as read contacts fragment. Okay, here the fragment is created. Now go to the fragment layout. Go to the XML version. So here the root element is a frame layout. So instead of frame layout, here I am going to add some scroll view. Now here I am going to add a text view. Width into much parent, height wrap content. Specify a sample text on it. text style into bold, text size into 18 sp. Now specify a margin for that one. Specify margin of 12 dp. Now specify an ID for it. Here I name it as txt display. So now we are going to display the contact information using this text view. Okay. So now open home fragment. So here is the view contact button. We have to initialize that button first. So here the button name is bn view. Find the view by id, r.id, bn view contact. Now set the click listener for the button. So bn view dot set on click listener into this. Now within the on click method, specify the second case. If it is bn view contact, in that case we have to return an integer to a method available inside main activity. So here I pass the integer 1. So now open main activity. So inside main activity, here we have to specify the second case. So here the second case is if it is 1. So here the needed fragment is view contact fragment. Here it is a read contacts fragment. Okay. Now open read contacts fragment. Here create some variables for text view. I name it as txt display. And now we can initialize this text view. So here create some view class object. Now simply return that view from here. So now we can initialize the text view. So txt display view dot find the view by id. Okay. Now for read information from SQLite database, here I am going to create a separate method. I name it as read contacts. So first we have to create an object of SQLite open helper. So in this project we have a subclass for that one called contact db helper. So create an object of contact db helper. The constructor of that class need the context, so pass get activity. Now create an object of SQLite database. So contact db I name it as database. So contact db helper dot. So we can use this method get a readable database. Okay, now we can read the information from SQLite database. So here this application is just for training. So it is not a good programming practice to put the read operation on the main thread. So if you want to publish your application, you have to use a separate background thread for database read and write operation. So here this is just for training purpose. That's why here I am going to perform the read operation on the main thread. Okay, so now we can perform the read operation. So here the data in the form of a cursor object. So create an object of cursor. So contact db helper dot. We can call that method called read contacts. So that method needs one parameter, that is an object of SQLite database. So now we can fetch information from the cursor object. So start a while loop. Cursor dot move it to next. first read the ID. So here we have to convert. Here the data available on database corresponding to ID is an integer, so we can convert that one into string. So integer dot to string. Now we can read the information. Cursor dot get int, cursor dot get column index, specify the column name here. So we can get the column name from the contact entry class, contact ID. Okay, now we can read the name. So cursor dot get string, cursor dot get column index. Here it is name. Now email, read email from the cursor. So cursor dot get string, get column index. Here it is email. Okay, so now we read all the information from the cursor object. Now we can display it. So here I declare some string variable, string info. Now here I am going to attach all this information into that string variable. So info equal to info plus. Now we can display each of data. So first one is ID. Here it is ID. Now we can display name. So display it in a new line. Now we can display name. Now display email. So display it in a new line. Here it is email. So here we read all the information from the cursor and we save that information into the string called info. And now we can display the information on the text view. So here our text view name is txt display. That is we already initialize here. So now we can display the information on the text view. So txt display dot set to text info. So after the database operations finishes, we can close the database. So contact db helper dot call the method called close. So now we can call that method from the onCreateView method of fragment. So call that method here, read contacts. Now we can test our application. So now we can run the application. So now the application available on this virtual device. We already saved some information in the previous episode, so we can try to view that contacts. So now there is only two information available on SQLite database. So here we have two contacts with ID 121 and 122. Now try to add a new contact 123. Specify name for it. Now specify an email. So save the contact. So now here we add a new contact. Now view contacts. So here is the new contact. So this is how we read information from SQLite database. I hope you understand all these concepts. For getting more Android tutorial updates, please subscribe this channel now. If you have any doubt or suggestions, please mention it in the comment section given below. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.